Hiya, so in this video I'm going to be talking a little bit about boat fenders, mostly rope ones that you use on narrowboats, such as this one here. This is like a button fender, and this one here, this is just a basic rope fender made from 12mm rope. So yeah, I'll start make a few of these, start making them for our boat, and I'll start making for other people. So just going to show you in principle how they're tied. So what I'm going to do is this one I've made here at the front, this is 6 foot long. I'm going to show you how I went about making that, and also what's involved in making something like this. I started making this 6 foot bow fender, so this will be the main body of it when it's finished. So there's 4 strands going through here, plus one central strand which will be to tie the fender on with. So I've just started the knot here, just on my third knot basically. So I'll sort of like put it on the floor so you can see where we are. So there's a coil of rope over there, coil of rope there, one just there, and one just there. So there's 4 coils of rope coming off in each direction. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And down the middle there is the loose piece. This is the bit that we use to tie the thing on in the end. So that probably be spliced onto something on the boat. So that's just dangling down there. So there'll be 3 foot sticking out either end to tie onto. So the type of rope I'm using is a polypropylene. It's a spun one. It's like a yarn construction rather than a split film. So this is slightly more expensive, but it's a more solid construction of rope. You can use the split film one. It's the same sort of material, but it's just the way that it's woven makes this a more solid rope, and it's easier to tie. And when you do tie it, it binds and doesn't slip as much as it does if you're using the split film polypropylene. Of course, there are other makes more natural. There's like manila, hemp, and then there's poly hemp, which is like a synthetic hemp, which I quite like. It's got a natural finish to it, natural look. Although it is a synthetic, it does float, it doesn't rot, so it's got a lot of properties which you don't get with natural rope. I'm just going to show you now how you tie each knot, as it were. So like I said, there's four pieces of rope here, and then the central one, which is the one that ties on to the boat eventually. So that's not relevant at the moment, so forget that one for the time being. It's these 4 are the ones that are going to be used for the crowning method to construct this fender. So doesn't matter which one you start with, so I'm going to start with this one here, say. So I'm going to just loop that over the next one, leaving a little loop there, and then this one then goes over the top of that. The next one over the top of that, and the last one goes over the top of that one and has to go through that loop there. So that's the first loop. The first rope I did was to loop through there. So this is the most difficult piece because there's 39 feet of rope here, and each time you tie a knot you've got to put that through. Well, to start with it's 39 feet. Obviously as you progress up the fender it gets smaller. So this is the end of it. So that then has to go down through there. Feed all that through. So basically that's constructed the knot. It's all loose at the moment. You can see there's the 4 ropes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all looping into each other. And then the thing is just to tighten it up. So just a little bit at a time. Tighten one, and the next, and the next, and the next. I don't do it too tight to start with. I just want to get it all even. So I'll go around it again, put it on the first rope, doesn't matter which one it is, it can be any one of the four. So there's no, you don't have to number these ropes. Okay, so you can just see it starting to develop. I'm just going to do another one now. So first one, does, like I say, which does matter when you take first one over, second one over, third one over, fourth one over and back through the first hole. So there we go, again we got all ropes loosely assembled there, and so I'm just going to tighten off again. So you can begin to see that a crowning sort of effect just taking shape. So, I mean, that's taken me, I don't know, probably 5 minutes to do those 2 or 3 knots. So you can understand how it takes a little while to do this, especially when you've got to push all the rope through. But the most important thing about this is to get the rope the right length in the first place. To do this 6 foot long crown bow fender, I'm using 4 lengths of 12mm rope at 39 foot each. So I think it's 156 feet of rope to do one fender, plus the central bit for the middle, which I've made 12 foot on this one. So there you go. I'll show you how it develops after about half hour or so. So here's the bow fender, probably about sort of 3/4 of the way through now. So you can see where the pattern developed, and then yeah, as you can see, it comes up. This one's about 4 foot long moment. So I've still got the 4 loose pieces of rope, one there, one there, one over there, and one here. But obviously they're a lot shorter now because I've tied a lot of it up. So I'm just going to tie a few more knots so you can see how it develops. Okay, so again, take it just any one of the 4 ropes, a loop in it like that, then you tie the next one over the top of it, next one over the top of that, then the last one goes through the loop, this loop here. And now it's a lot easier, it's not shorter now. It's only about like, I don't know, about 8-10 foot of rope there now, so it takes a couple of pulls through. And that's it, that's through now. So all 4 are actually in place. Just tighten them up. I'll just sort of go around evenly, a little bit at a time. Pull on each one as I go and put the thumb on the back of it, pull it through. And go to the next one, thumb on it, pull it through. Then I'll just go back the other way. But make sure you've got to keep them pretty evenly tensioned, otherwise you end up with a uneven shape. I'm no expert at this, I've only been doing it for a couple of years, just do a few here and there, just for a bit of fun really. Started in lockdown, just making the odd one or two, and I thought, oh, actually I'll make some for our boat. So that's how I started really. I had an old bit of rope and tried it, seemed to come out okay. So yeah, I made a few. Then because Kay's got a shop on the side of the boat, I thought, well actually I'll just try a few knotted things to sell on the boat. So I made some fenders, I made some monkey fist key rings, dog leads, all sorts of bits and bobs really, and dog toys, and yeah, some of it sold. It's not, it doesn't make I make a living at it, but it's just a bit of fun. I quite enjoy doing it, and I've had people come up and ask me for orders. So I've made some of these actually for a guy. He had some 4 foot ones, a pair of those. I've made no end of sort of 13-inch ordinary rope fenders for the side of the boat, and yeah, I've actually made some button ones which I'll put on a video later. Made a couple of proper button ones for the front, made out of hemp rope, which took ages to do, but I really enjoyed doing those. And I also made some, cheating a bit really, I've made some button sort of side fenders made with go-kart tyres filled with expanding foam to make them buoyant, and then I've laced those up with the same sort of method as the front buttons. But they're ideal for fenders when you when you want to moor somewhere where you can't get that close. You can't always get your small fenders to keep your boat off the side of the piling. So then, yeah, the wider go-kart tyres covered in rope will space the boat further away. So yeah, I'm going to carry on doing this, and I'll show you what it's like when it's done. So I've got the stage now where it's all knotted up. Looks a bit wonky, but it needs to be sort of like straightened out and sort of beat into shape a little bit. But so I've got to the top, and I've got about, I don't know, about a foot or so, less than that, perhaps, of rope on all four ends. So to finish it off, what you do is you thread it over one. So say if you take, for example, this one here, that will go over this one, then under this one, and this one. So what you do is you go over top this knot and open this knot up and this knot up and thread it down through. So it's done with a thing called a Swedish fid. So here I am, sat in the sunshine, just getting to the last stages of making this bow fender button. So you can see there's a couple of bits of chain sticking out either side. That'd be to chain the fender onto the forwardmost point of the bow of the boat. And I'm using this Swedish fid here to feed the rope through. So you put the fid through the knot, and it helps to feed the rope through, and then you tie it and then bash it into shape. So I'm putting the fid in again now. That opens up the knot. Then you grab the end of your rope, tuck it through, but see how easy it is to go through. You can feed the whole thing through then without too much effort. Still a lot of rope to go through on this one. It does get a bit twisted. Every sort of 4 or 5 knots, I sort of tend to straighten the rope out, take the twists out of it. Getting to that stage now, really. And just bash it into shape a little bit. And go to the next one. Up and over. And just repeat the same process. So you can see the little white rope knots there. So they're tying the 32 wheel rope together.
How long do you want on this?
That do.
So this is a core of 32 mil hemp inside this. That's the finished product. You see the chain hanging out the side. And this is a lovely old boat which a guy asked me to put some new fenders on for him. And so these are the new ones that I made. And these are some of the covered jars that I've made that we sell from the side of the boat. And this is a lady wanted some curtain tiebacks made, so I made some of them for her. So that's it basically, how you bake the fenders. I hope that sort of explains it. If you're interested in having a go yourself and there's not enough information there, do get in touch with me in the comments, and I'll try and help out if you want to have a go. Also, if you don't want to have a go yourself and you'd like some fenders, we have got an Etsy shop which I'll put a link to in the comments. And there's only a few fenders on there at the moment, but if you're interested in any of the stuff you've seen there, you just let me know and I'll have a go at doing it for you. And it is quite cheap. I don't sort of charge much for my labour, because it's, like I say in the video, it's just a bit of fun for me really. So so I hope you enjoyed watching this one, and if you have done, please press the like and subscribe if you haven't already, please. That does help to grow the channel, and hit the bell for notifications for future videos. Okay, thank you very much then. Bye.